this is not about numbers. It's not about like speed necessarily of getting, it's about getting them in where we give consumers who are on the fence about considering an EV confidence that they can go to Yellowstone. They can go visit their grandma or Aunt Betty in, 3 states over out in the middle of rural Iowa. And
Yeah.
there's actually several charging stations that are open, working, and available, right? That's the first thing. But the second thing that doesn't get talked a lot about is that you recall, and we've talked a lot about this, and when you had Bill Farrow on, you talked a lot about is we've gone through a period where reliability was a massive problem and black eye for
Yeah.
the industry. Remember, we went through this period where the headlines in the industry for like months were about, 25% of all fast chargers are not working at any given moment, right? The horror stories on YouTube videos and social media and stuff about just not working chargers. And while NEVI is not a rule, requirement, and law that applies to all fast chargers, it's had a like de facto, sort of sidebar effect, which is, the 4 150 kW charging ports, right? Being able to charge at a minimum of 150 for 4 cars at once, and the 97% uptime, which, many of us think is a kind of a low bar,
Yeah.
but it's the first time we've had
A
actual
bar. Yeah.
accountability and
Yeah,
a bar.
exactly.
Exactly. Right. And so what's happened is even though, the station X by charge point operator Y is putting in a location that's not NEVI, there's sort of an expectation that it'll be at least 150, that'll at least be 4, if not 6 or 8 or 12 chargers. And it's
That's
probably going to
true.
be 350 kW, not 150, and that it's going to work. So I think,
I think
and
that is a good reflection to look back. And you're totally right. It really wasn't that long ago that we were concerned you'd show up and it was one, even there sometimes, the right location. Two, it'll even work. And
right.
then three, yeah,
It's like,
it's in a not
well,
halfway sketchy place or anything else.
it's a
Or
50
slow,
kW charge,
derates, stops after a few minutes of plugging it in.
yeah. And so I think, again, it's not a law that's applied to non-NEVI, but like sort of it made all boats rise in the
Yeah.
in the bay, as the old saying goes. There's this like expectation. So and then you had a lot of people go 4 is too few, 150 is too slow. It like literally made
Yeah.
people say, well, yeah, let's do even better. And the 97%, if you do apply for NEVI and win, right, like there are actually penalties if you don't hit that. And so it's forced the industry to buy better, more reliable hardware and, have backup systems, better monitoring. Like it's
And it kind of also forces the automakers to now make faster charging vehicles because there is
and
the infrastructure that can
yeah, and move
do a lot of
forward
this.
more quickly on things like plug-in charge and stuff. So I think, that's something that gets overlooked
Yeah.
is that it's really actually driven the industry to kind of one level up.
It's
Like,
given a
oh,
really good foundation
yeah,
of what
yeah,
needs to
yeah.
be there.
And just the third and final point on this is that if we go back and look at the sort of the winners list, and we talked about this, Pilots, Loves, Quick Trip, Circle K, Sheets, Wawa, they may not always be the applicant, but
That's true.
the convenience store chains and
That's a good
travel
point.
centers are winning the majority of the being the site hosts. And we've talked a lot about this, and the whole industry does of you pull up to a charging station and it's back by the garbage cans in the back corner of a parking lot, and there's no lighting and stuff like that, and it's not a good experience. There's no bathrooms, there's no people around, there's no lighting, right? There's no amenities and stuff, and that this has brought in players like the convenience store
Yeah.
chains and travel centers and even hotels and supermarkets and people like that have these amenities to get in the game. And look at the things that like Walmart and Iona and Mercedes-Benz are doing. And they didn't necessarily get into the game because of NEVI, but it certainly influenced them, and they're part of it. And so I think that's my third sort of positive point is we can't lose sight that NEVI's helped attract like a better type of site host, right? And companies
Better
give,
site hosts, better
yeah,
experience.
better
And yeah, and
experience.
just set that kind of bar of what it needs to be to not even just be competitive, but like I said, make better vehicles
Yeah,
to use this
yeah,
infrastructure
yeah. And now
and
you
get
like,
people want to buy EVs.
yeah, you talk to people in the industry, and it's like, everybody sort of talks about that, two 50 kW chargers, out by the garbage cans in the back.
Yeah.
That's the past now, right?
Right.
Like that is unacceptable, right? Like we've sort of moved from, oh, I'm just happy to find like a working charger back there to, no, I expect there to be food, restrooms, lights, 250, 150, 350 kW, 6, 8, like it's just, we
Megawatts. Let's go all the way
yeah,
there.
yeah. And so, I think, years from now, we'll look back and go, NEVI was a big part of the catalyst to moving the industry from this sort of entrepreneurial, lot of problems, shortcomings, not ideal customer experience to really sort of the next level of better companies, more well capitalized companies, better experiences. And yeah, and so I think it's
I think
the
those are
progress.
all just great points that make it seem
Yeah.
like things to be positive about and remember where
Yeah.
we've come from and where we're going. And once again, to look back at the transition from steam to the
Right.
and horses to the modern automobile and kind of now this in its own generation for this century.
Yep, yep, absolutely.